So to make this bracelet, you will obviously need some embroidery floss, and you're going to need to pick out 12 colors, which is kind of a lot. But with these 12 colors, you're going to be cutting only one string. So normally for bracelets, we will cut one really long wingspan's length string and then fold it in half to get 2 strings in total. But for this bracelet, since we have 12 colors and only one string of each, we don't need a full wingspan's length because that's just way too long, because we don't need 2 and we don't need a super long one. So we're going to be cutting half our wingspan's length for each of our 12 colors. So to do that, you'll take your string, whatever color you're using, and you're going to hold the end of it in one hand, and you're going to stretch your arm out, and you're going to bring this string all the way across your arm just like this to about the center of your chest, and you're going to cut it there. That's about half your wingspan, and you'll do this for each of your 12 strings. So once you have half a wingspan's length cut of each of your 12 strings, you'll go ahead and just tie a knot to start the bracelet. We will not fold these in half, because if we did, then we'd have 2 of each color, but we only need 1 string of each color. So you'll go ahead and just tie a knot to start your bracelet. I'm going to make mine adjustable, but you can do whatever you want. You won't be able to do the stitched loop with this bracelet, but you can still do the adjustable bracelet if you wanted to do that. Once you have started your bracelet and taped it down, you're ready to go. So since this bracelet has just 12 different colors, there's really no real order in how to set them up. So you can just set your strings up whatever order you want them to be in for your bracelet. I'm obviously doing a rainbow, so I just have mine in rainbow order. And this is a 1-2 pattern, so we're going to go ahead and pair up our strings, because with 1-2 patterns we work with pairs of strings. So I'm just going to pair up my strings like so, making sure that they're still in the same order. And this entire first row is going to be all forward knots. So to do a forward knot, we're going to take our first pair here, and I'm going to start with my left string and cross it over top of the right string in my pair, making this 4 shape. Take the tail of my left string, I'm going to wrap it underneath the right string and pull the tail through and up, and I'm going to do that twice. And go ahead and repeat this step on the rest of your pairs for this entire first row. Alright, so for the second row of this pattern, again with 1-2 patterns, we will leave out the outer 2 strings every other row. So now for our second row, I'm going to take my very outer 2 strings. On either end of my bracelet, I'm going to just leave those 2 out and not even worry about them for this entire row. And then I'm going to go ahead and repair up all of my other strings. Once all your strings are paired up and they're still in the correct order, now we're ready to do our second row. And for the second row, we're going to alternating doing backward and forward knots every other time. So to start, I'm going to be doing a backward knot. So I'm going to take my first pair, and to do a backward knot, I'm going to start with the right string in my pair and cross that over the left string to make a backwards 4 shape. Taking the tail of my right string, going to wrap that underneath the left string and pull that to the top and do it twice. Then my next pair will be a forward knot, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And my third pair now is going to be a backward knot. Setting the third pair aside, now pick up my fourth pair, which is a forward knot. Set the fifth pair aside, and then my sixth pair will be a backward knot. that's the entire pattern. So just to go through that one more time, now for my next row, I'm going to bring back in my outer 2 strings. And I'm going to include those when I pair all my strings up again. And again, every pair in this entire row is going to be all forward knots. Now that that row is done, I'm going to be leaving out my very outer 2 strings for the next row. And I'm not going to include those 2 strings when I pair my strings up again. And again, for this entire row, we're going to be alternating doing backward and forward knots every other time, starting with a backward knot. So my first pair is going to be backward. My second pair is going to be a forward knot. My third pair is a backward knot. Fourth pair is forward. And fifth pair is backward. And just keep repeating those 2 steps until your bracelet is long enough.